Welcome, my friends. And what's more futuristic than self-driving cars, right? These things have been promising to change the world for years now, but where are we actually at? In 2025, are we all hailing robotaxis, or are we still stuck in traffic? If you're as fascinated by the future of driving as I am, hit that subscribe button and let's break down the reality of self-driving cars in 2025. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the tech itself. It's a fascinating blend of cutting-edge innovations and complex systems. Self-driving cars rely on a crazy mix of sensors, AI, and mapping data to navigate the world. These elements work together to create a seamless driving experience. And honestly, the tech has come a long way. What once seemed like science fiction is now becoming a reality on our roads. We've got cars from companies like Tesla, Waymo, and Cruise out there on the roads, actually driving themselves at least some of the time. These companies are pushing the boundaries of what's possible, but it's not as simple as just hopping in and reading a book while your car does all the work. There are still many challenges to overcome. Right now, most self-driving systems are classified as Level 3 automation. This means they can handle a lot of the driving tasks, but not all. That means they can handle a lot of the driving in specific conditions, like on highways or in well-marked lanes. However, their capabilities are still limited. But, and this is a big but, they still need a human driver ready to take over at a moment's notice. This is crucial for safety. Think of it like this. Level 3 is your co-pilot, not your chauffeur. It assists you but doesn't replace you. The self-driving revolution is happening, but it's more of a slow rollout than a sudden takeover. We're witnessing a gradual evolution in how we approach driving. Now let's talk about the companies leading the charge in the self-driving race. It's basically a three-way battle between Tesla, Waymo, and Cruise, and each one is coming at it from a slightly different angle. Tesla, as you know, is all about that AI. Their autopilot and full self-driving systems rely heavily on deep learning, feeding their AI tons of data collected from Tesla drivers all over the world. The idea is, the more the AI drives, the better it gets. On the other hand, you've got Waymo, a subsidiary of Alphabet, Google's parent company. They're all about that sensor life. Their cars are decked out with LiDAR, radar, cameras, the works, basically giving the car superhuman senses to navigate its surroundings. And then there's Cruise, backed by General Motors, which is taking a more hybrid approach, combining sophisticated sensor technology with advanced AI algorithms. So if self-driving cars are so great, why aren't we all cruising around in them right now? Well, there are still some pretty big challenges holding back full autonomy, and surprise, surprise, most of them come down to safety. Even with all the fancy sensors and AI, self-driving cars still struggle in unpredictable situations. Think about it, heavy rain, snow, fog. Those can mess with even the most advanced sensors. Construction zones with their constantly changing layouts are another nightmare for self-driving systems. And don't even get me started on pedestrians and cyclists. Humans are, let's face it, kind of unpredictable. Until we can solve these safety and ethical challenges, full autonomy will remain just out of reach. It's a lot to process, and honestly, there are no easy answers. The law of the land and the road, regulation and self-driving cars. Okay, so we've talked about the tech and the challenges. Now let's dive into the legal landscape. Now let's talk about the law, because governments around the world are still trying to figure out how to regulate this whole self-driving thing. It's a complex issue with many layers. And let me tell you, it's a patchwork quilt of regulations out there. Each country has its own set of rules and guidelines, making it a real challenge for global companies. Some countries like Singapore are embracing self-driving cars with open arms, setting up dedicated testing zones and even allowing fully autonomous vehicles on public roads. They see it as the future of transportation. But other countries are taking a more cautious approach, with strict regulations that require a licensed driver behind the wheel at all times. They are concerned about safety and liability issues. This regulatory uncertainty is actually one of the biggest things holding back the industry right now. Companies are finding it difficult to navigate these uncharted waters. Companies are hesitant to invest heavily in self-driving technology if they don't know what the rules are going to be in 5 or 10 years. This uncertainty affects not just the companies, but also the investors and the market as a whole. The price of the future self-driving cars and accessibility. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: cost. Self-driving cars are still crazy expensive. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of the most advanced models. All those sensors, the LiDAR, the computing power, it adds up, and that means, for the average person, owning a self-driving car is simply not an option right now. But there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. Ride-hailing companies like Waymo One and Cruise are already running autonomous taxi services in select cities. The idea is, you hail a ride using an app, just like you would with Uber or Lyft. But instead of a human driver, a self-driving car picks you up. The upside of automation, the potential benefits of self-driving cars. Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, the regulations, the cost, but what about the good stuff? Because let's be honest, self-driving cars have the potential to be truly revolutionary. For starters, they promise to make our roads a whole lot safer. Think about it, 94% of car accidents are caused by human error. Self-driving cars, on the other hand, don't get tired, they don't get distracted, and they don't drive under the influence. That means fewer accidents, fewer injuries, and fewer fatalities on our roads. And it's not just about safety. Self-driving cars could also be a game changer for accessibility. People with disabilities who are unable to drive themselves could finally have a safe and reliable way to get around. The trust factor. Why are we so wary of self-driving cars? Here's the thing. Even with all the potential benefits, a lot of people are still hesitant to fully embrace self-driving cars. And honestly, I get it. Trusting a machine with your life is a big deal. It's one thing to let your phone recommend a restaurant, but it's quite another to let it drive you down the highway at 70 miles per hour. Surveys have shown that a significant portion of the population is uncomfortable with the idea of riding in a fully autonomous vehicle. They cite concerns about safety, hacking, and even just the lack of control. So how do we bridge this trust gap? It's going to take time, transparency, and a lot of education. Beyond the tech and the safety concerns, we also need to talk about the broader societal impacts of self-driving cars, because this technology has the potential to reshape our world in some pretty profound ways. One of the biggest concerns is job displacement. Millions of people around the world make a living driving trucks, taxis, and buses. What happens to those jobs when self-driving vehicles become the norm? It's a legitimate concern, and one that we need to address proactively. We need to start thinking now about retraining programs, job creation in new industries, and maybe even things like universal basic income. But it's not all doom and gloom. Self-driving cars could also create new jobs in fields like software development, data analysis, and sensor manufacturing. So, what does the future hold for self-driving cars? It's a question that has intrigued technologists, futurists, and everyday drivers alike. Are we all going to be chauffeured around by robots in 5 years? Or will it take longer for this vision to become a reality? 10 years? 50 years? Timeline is uncertain, but the possibilities are endless. Honestly, if I had a crystal ball, I'd be in a different line of work. Predicting the future is always a tricky business, but based on what we know now, it seems unlikely that fully autonomous vehicles will be dominating our roads anytime soon. The challenges are numerous and complex. The technical hurdles are still significant, requiring advanced algorithms and robust sensor systems. The regulations are still evolving, with lawmakers grappling to keep up with rapid technological advancements, and the public still needs some convincing. Trust in autonomous technology is a major factor. That being said, the progress we've made in the past decade has been nothing short of remarkable. The advancements are paving the way for a new era in transportation. And with companies like Tesla, Waymo, and Cruise pouring billions of dollars into research and development, the pace of innovation is accelerating. It's only a matter of time before we see even more breakthroughs. My prediction? We'll likely see Level 4 autonomy, where cars can handle most driving tasks in specific geographic areas, become more common in the next 5 to 10 years. This will be a significant milestone on the road to fully autonomous vehicles. So let's wrap this up. What's the truth about self-driving cars in 2025? Well, it's complicated. The technology is incredibly impressive, but it's not perfect. We've made huge strides, but there are still some major hurdles to overcome before we're all riding around in robotaxis. Full autonomy is still a long way off, but the journey is just as fascinating as the destination. The self-driving revolution is happening, but it's happening gradually, in fits and starts, with plenty of bumps along the way. This is a technology that has the potential to fundamentally change the way we live, work, and interact with the world around us. Self-driving cars are rewriting the rules of transportation, but we're still in the early parts of this story. The journey to full autonomy is far from over, and it's going to be filled with challenges, debates, and breakthroughs. What do you think? Is the world ready for autonomous vehicles? Are you excited about the future of self-driving cars, or are you hitting the brakes on this whole thing? Let us know in the comments. For more deep dives into the cutting-edge innovations shaping the automotive world, check out our other videos on Detroit Motor Marvels. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.